All right, Shalom.
Shalom.
I want to start out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom to all the Akim out there pushing the word of sincerity and the truth. It's the brother Barzal, and yeah, and we're here with another lesson going into basically Nate Satan of IUIC, the ventriloquist or puppeteer, exposed. You know, it starting off with the apostles, starting off with Apostle Tahar, Apostle Gabar, Apostle Ramlat, Apostle Ricard, the elders, a great millstone on down. They've been speaking about this topic and this subject matter for years. That Nate is a charlatan. He's basically a yellow belly, prophet. He's he's just like Apostle Gabar calls him Baron Samedi. He's basically a sorcerer, man. He has individuals in the congregation, and it's been just brought out. And these are things that I'm pretty sure it's a lot other individuals that's being defrauded and extorted in the IUIC congregation for thousands of dollars. Mm-hmm. Now, you had the individual, of course, Basilio, if I'm pronouncing it right. He basically went into the topic of extortion. He felt wrong for extorting that individual for that large sum of money, and Nate didn't give a hell. He actually justified the reasons. He didn't have any form of contriteness in his spirit. He didn't recontact the individual and feel low for the things that he actually did. Mm-hmm. And that shows you that those guys are first and foremost, that Nate is a true witch, man. Yep. He does wickedness, he does evil. And he has no type of remorse. He has no type of sympathy. He has no type of mercy to take that large sum of money from individuals in his congregation. That's right. Scriptures speak about offending the little ones. It's better that a millstone be cast down on your neck. And you have these individuals that's doing basically the cleanup work, trying to do damage control and basically speak and try to expose this individual, Basilio, for coming out with videos exposing them, and they're trying to say that he's wrong for recording the conversation. He's trying to chop it up. Mm-hmm. Hey man, it ain't no chopping and screwing nothing, man. He brought it out through the spirit. It was plain Jane. It wasn't no type of manipulations. It wasn't no type of ways he was trying to put a false image on the congregation. He just spoke the truth of what he's seen, man.
That's right.
But you're gonna have a lot of puppets that still attached to the strings of Nate. That's gonna be the mouthpieces to try to control what was the information that was brought out, and that shows you a lot of those guys in IUIC is gonna die, man. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shema Shai, and the ones that truly are in the spirit of the Lord, they're going to wake up and leave that madness, man.
That's right.
Because here it is, you're following an individual that just because of a man has a large sum of money, he wants to draw close to him. He wants to befriend him. All for the fact that he had money. Because if that same individual didn't have no money, he wouldn't be dealing with him, man. Mm-hmm. And that was the thing with a lot of men in the scriptures. You had a lot of false prophets. You had a lot of congregational leaders, so to speak, pastors and bishops that were pushing out a spirit that they were actually leading men, but they were leading them all right, but they were leading them astray. Okay. And in the aftermath, there were certain men that followed a lot of those congregations, and they got sucked dry. As a matter of fact, let me get that in 1 Peter 8:3. If you can start with it.
All right, this 1 Samuel 8.
1 Samuel 8:3.
83. It says, and his sons walked not in his ways, but turned aside after lucre, and took bribes and perverted judgment. And this is a perfect example of what Nate's doing over there, man. He's doing all those wicked things for filthy lucre's sake, man. To take advantage of the men, that's under him. And you're going to get ultimate judgment for doing that, man. Because you're trying to use the scriptures, for wickedness, man, and not righteousness. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
You got it out.
And just like the brother was saying, the filthy lucre, the bribes, and what the scriptures say first and foremost, and the pervert men of judgment, because you had the men that were the sons of, if I'm not mistaken, this was Eli, and they were basically defrauding the congregation. They were the elders at that time, they were the leaders at that time, and they were basically sucking the blood out of the congregation, and certain people didn't want to raise up and put those accusations on those individuals because of what they had a level of nobility, so to speak.
That's right.
They had certain individuals in their congregation that would follow them onto the end, even if they were to teach for filthy lucre and take bribes and pervert judgment. And it's the same thing today. And that's why you individuals in these congregations, IUIC, ISUPK, you need to really, consider what you're involved in, and consider what these individuals around you are doing behind the scenes, because they'll push out of energy this all Israel, the law. We're just a good family, and this, that, and the other. But in the background, they're doing the foulest things known to man. Yep. Robbing their congregation, pushing things forcefully on certain individuals, and there's a lot of things been pushed out that's been speaking about the filthy things that Nate do. You had an individual, which it's just what was reported. It was saying that he actually had he had sent individuals in the congregation certain penis pics, so to speak. Why did he do so? Hey, that was a leader. That was somebody of a high rank in IUIC that actually spoke on that. He wasn't just some so-called Johnny come lately. And it's been a lot of things that's actually been coming out with IUIC and the foul things that they do. Same thing with ISUPK. Same thing with all these congregations. And they always push the energy that we the rapists, we're the ones that do all this 12-year-old molesting. Who exposed us for these things?
That's right.
Because we don't do these things, man.
That's what happens when you let anybody into your congregation too, man.
That's right.
Not trying the spirit.
Mm-hmm.
I got a precept. You done?
Yeah, that's really the main point.
God. This is 2 Timothy chapter 3 and 16. It says, all scripture is given by inspiration of the Most High, and it is profitable for doctrine, for reproof, for correction, for instruction in righteousness.
Yep.
And I wanted to get that because, as we're going in, Nate is using the scriptures adverse to everything that I just read.
Mm-hmm.
He's not using the scripture for to get the 144, and receive salvation. He got his kingdom here, man.
Yeah, and that's why he's always pushing schools. He always pushing things where it takes a lot of physical congregation lucre to get to that. Because if you pushing a big school, if you pushing these mega churches, if you pushing trying to get a nicer car, jets, like these different pastors, they're always pushing $300 million jets and things of that nature. $1 million tour buses to travel. Where are they going to get all this money from? Is the government just going to slap millions of dollars in their pocket? No. They're trying to pull it from their congregation. They're pulling teeth. And then you have this mother F, Nate. He's talking about a lot of individuals, they got to go through the ringer. They have to go through this fire. That's not the fire that the scriptures is talking about. Robbing men of the congregation, and that's the fire. Nah, it don't work like that. Okay. If that's the case, then the pastors are doing the right thing, robbing their congregation. So how does he feel about that? Because he's doing the same damn thing. He can't even reprove pastors. So anything he says about Eddie Long and these other different pastors that's robbing the congregation, he's being a hypocrite. The scripture says, get the blemish out of your eye, and then you could actually say something about these different accusations and things that other individuals do. That's but right. He's not judgeless, so to speak. Right. He's doing these different things. Yep. So he's being a straight up and down hypocrite.
Yep. That's right.
And like the brother I9 in the camp, he was speaking about how IUIC is breaking all 10 commandments, man. They want to push all the law, and a lot of you individuals, you're doing exactly the opposite of what the law condones.
That's right.
Being covetous, stealing, jealous, which those things are dishonorable. So you're not honoring the Most High. You're worshiping other idols. You're seeing those things more worthy than following the path of the Lord. So you're actually putting another God before the Most High too.
That's right.
You're breaking all 10 commandments just from those things the actions that you're doing, man. And that's why Scripture says that the individuals that do these things, these leaders are going to be beaten with larger stripes, man. And you current individuals that follow, you're going to be beaten too. You're going to be beaten with less stripes because you're walking foolishly, but nonetheless, you're going to be beaten.
That's right.
You got that's the main point, right?
Yeah, that was the main point I wanted to get.
Okay, I'm gonna read this in Titus 1:11. You can go into it. This is Titus 1:11. Matter of fact, verse 10. For there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision.
God, hey, like we going into, it's it says there are many unruly and vain talkers. You know how Nate, he got it's plenty of videos where it's like, what's this guy talking about, man?
Mm-hmm.
Like the video of him speaking about it won't be a Jacob's trouble.
Mm-hmm.
It's vain talking, man. He's not. Well, if it's not going to be a Jacob trouble, then what are you doing this for, man?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you trying to blot out the more serious things that's going to happen to the congregation, because what he's trying to rock the congregation to sleep. And he wants them to actually get in a state of passiveness. Because if you feel like the time of Jacob's trouble is not going to draw near, your faith is not going to be tried, then you're not going to be in the spirit of getting ready. You're not going to be mentally aroused. You're basically going to be spiritually neutered, and that's what he's doing. He's actually chopping the spiritual kahunas off of his congregation. And that's why I said, especially they of the circumcision, because those that knew they were Jews, they knew the truth, they knew the law, they knew the fullness of the understanding of the scriptures, and they were teaching individuals the wrong way. And if they were to come against these individuals of the circumcision was so cold with the scriptures, they couldn't never find a way to come against them. And that's why Yahweh Shai had to specifically go to those leaders of the Pharisees and the Sadducee sects and condemn them through their wicked and vile practices. He turned tables, he condemned them, cussed them out, and us brothers of the faith that's walking after Yahweh Shai, not Jesus Christ, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, we're doing the same practice. We overthrowing these tables that these individuals are setting down to rob the congregation. We overturning and breaking down the strongholds of the bribes that these individuals are setting up. We basically crashing their party. Continuing on, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whose houses, teaching things which they ought not for filthy lucre's sake.
Yeah, that's right. It says whose mouths must be stopped, man. Through the Spirit, man. Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to put a stop to everything that Nate got going on over there, man. Nate the snake, man.
Yep. And then this is the definition of lucre. Goes back to the Greek word kerdos, which means gain advantage, and that's what he wants: gain, affinity, and lucre, money. He's all about the dollar bill.
Yep.
And what the scripture says, that the love of money is the root of all evil.
Yep.
So he's rooted upon evil, man. He's not looking to get up out of this captivity. He feels like he's financially free. He has a level of financial freedom. He's doing videos where he's whitewater rafting with the jacket on. Traveling place to place,
having commercials.
Trying to be in different magazines. All these illustrious pics of him with the breeze. They had one pic where he had a little golden cup in his hand.
He has the golden flakes in his beard.
Yeah, the golden flakes in his beard. Where you getting all these gimmicks from, man? Where you getting the money to do all these little gimmicks? His congregation, because he ain't working.
Yeah.
Well, he might be doing his little detective work, doing his little business, but the things that he's doing, he's living a life of better than most celebrities, man.
Well, clearly the scriptures tell us to warn our people, man, of the wicked, man.
Yep, and it's even a spiritual dress code you have to have, even being in this faith. Scriptures speak about men of the Lord dressing in sackcloth. because you're coming to a people that's in a mourning and a low state. So you don't come to individuals in a lowly position on your high horse. Yahushua was lowly sitting upon an ass. He was the embodiment and the representation of humility, not trying to be the sharpest the sharpest man in the city, man. Mm-hmm. And just like Apostle Gabar said, he's always had that metrosexual type of spirit. Because you could even look at the individual and see that ain't something that just grew overnight. Mm-hmm. He has a lot of worldly aspirations about himself. He has certain worldly visions. He's basically like, whether the Lord comes or not, I'm still gonna get me. Mm-hmm. I'm still gonna live high off the hog. Who's the hog that he's living high off? The congregation. And he's sacrificing them, man. Mm-hmm. And you individuals, you keep going through the ringer. Either you see the truth and actually pull away from that witchcraft, the bewitching, or you just staying with it and perishing. Yep. Get your life sucked away, get your blood, your bank accounts took from you, compromised from them, and get judged. Either or.
That's right.
But we don't say we didn't tell you so. Don't say we didn't warn. We didn't do the job of a watchman. That's do right. The job of really brethren. Because this is an act of love right here. We ain't saying it just to cuss you individuals out. We gonna cuss you out through the spirit because you're walking foolishly and blindly. Yep. But we're telling you it through love. Yep. To pull away from that madness, man.
And if I could say too, because we got examples, of brothers, breaking away from IUIC, man. Mm-hmm. Every brother didn't come right up under GMS and Apostle Tahar. They had to find their spiritual walk, man.
Yeah, and the beautiful thing is too, we have examples even at our church here in Atlanta of individuals that had that same type of mindset. Our previous leader, the leader, our camp head, before the camp head that we have now, he was one of those individuals he was all about living lavish. He was always looking pretty for the women. He started being basically that fashionista spirit. He was a great teacher. Everybody can agree to the fact that Yard Dunn of Atlanta was an excellent teacher. He had beautiful points. He was very sharp when it concerning the scriptures, but the wickedness that he used to perpetuate outweighed on the scale of the righteousness. So at the end of the day, it ain't no respect to persons. We didn't say, well, he's a good teacher. That's our leader. Nah, scripture says there's no respect to persons. A man is doing these different things. Everybody is liable to get judged, man. And that's the problem with a lot of you guys in these congregations. You respect men rather than the Most High. You're going to allow individuals to defraud individuals around you without speaking against them. And shame on you guys that surround him in the leadership position too. You guys that follow Nate, whether you his second in command, his third, his fourth, all the way down. And you know these things, but you still ain't checking them on this stuff because you scared, man. And you being controlled like a puppet is being controlled from the puppeteer. So you had something? If not, then I'm going to end it with this scripture. This is 1 Peter 5:1. The elders which are among you I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness of the sufferings of Yahushua, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of the Most High which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. So this thing isn't about money. Scripture says at the end of the day, we're unprofitable servants. We do that which we are supposed to do. We're trying to work out our own salvation with fear and trembling, and that's good enough. Salvation is good enough. Getting that penny from Yahushua for doing his good will and actually getting delivered for doing his work, that's reward enough, man. But you guys don't, especially Nate, you guys don't feel that is enough. You need a lot more. You feel like you've been doing your thing, doing this, pushing the truth for a number of years, and you want to suck them in dry. Now, of course, you have tithes and offerings, and as a leader that's teaching the truth, you're supposed to be taken care of. Paul spoke about it best, reaping carnal rewards for spiritual labor. And that's just how it works. But when you actually strong arm a man through the spirit or orally for his money, that's when you going to slap the hell off, man. And the Most High is going to get you individuals, you Nate and these other guys that's hiding behind their congregation that's doing these filthy and wicked acts. So we're going to end it by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, by Hashem, Rakak, Wadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and Shalom, Maki.
Shalom.